the objectives of this presentation are as follows. One, to make viewers aware of the format or structure of an email. Two, to examine a past paper question with the intention of providing viewers with tips on how they can approach the given past paper question. Thirdly, to provide viewers with a sample response in relation to the past paper question given. We literally send email every day to our friends, to our families, to our co-workers, and even to our loved ones. Email writing will not be a difficult task, and if you get this activity or task to do in an examination, you are going to ace it, right? Because you would have been familiar with the concept of email writing to some degree. Now let's see if you are indeed familiar with the idea of email writing. The format or structure of an email. Now the first thing that you see is from. Now in this section or at that section, you will have the sender's address. So from the sender's address, then to the receiver's address, the person, and by address we mean email. So now so by address we mean email. So the receiver's email. So you from the sender's address would be the sender's email, and then to the receiver's email, and then you have the date, and then of course the subject, the reason for writing our the email, right? And then you have the greetings or salutation, right? Depending on the type of email that you're sending, the greetings or salutation can be a formal one or an informal one. Okay, then of course the body of your email. This is where you have the bulk of the body of the email containing your message, right? The information, the pertinent information that you wish the sender to the receiver to have, right? And then of course your complimentary close and your signature. All right, and so let's get started now as we examine a past paper question that would require you to utilize your knowledge of the format and structure of an email. Email writing is found in section B of the Csec paper, and the suggested time for the completion of this activity is 30 minutes. Study the situation that is presented below and complete the task that is given. Jason Mason, a 16-year-old, wants to find out what must be done in order to obtain his driver's license. He called the licensing office many times but was unable to reach anyone. He decides to write an email using an email address obtained. He must write to Kenneth Daly, head of the traffic department of the Royal St. Taba Police Force. He wants the following information. 1. The minimum age to acquire a driver's license. 2. The test, theory and practical, which must be taken. 3. The length of time it takes to get the license after passing the test. 4. The days the tests are taken. And lastly, the cost of the driver's license. Write the email using the information given. Make sure to include all the relevant details in the email that all information is received. Your email must be in continuous prose. Your response or your answer will be assessed on how well you 1. Format the email, 2. Select relevant and complete information, 3. Organize and express the information. Lastly, use appropriate grammar, sentence structure, vocabulary, spelling, and punctuation. And the total marks for the completion of this activity is 30 marks. In order to complete this task effectively, the first thing that needs to be done is to select the relevant information. Now, what are these? Let's look at it. Now, John Mason would be the sender, right? So, John Mason, the sender, and of course, that is the email that you're going to put in the sender's address. And then the receiver is Kenneth Daly. And of course, the information that is highlighted in blue is the message. So the minimum age to acquire the driver's license, the tests, whether theory and practical, which may be taken, the length of time it takes to get the license after passing the test, the days the tests are taken, and of course the cost of the driver's license. All of that information will be in the body of the email. And of course, remember that your email must be written in continuous prose. So let's jump right in and complete this activity. In writing the response to this question, we have to adhere to the structure and format of an email. So to kennethdaily.hotd@gmail.com, from johnmason@gmail.com, date August 31st, 2023, subject acquisition of driver's license. Dear Mr. Daly, I am seeking pertinent information regarding the acquisition of a driver's license. Firstly, I would like to know the minimum age requirement in order to obtain a driver's license and the length of time it will take to get the license after passing the test. Secondly, I need to be aware of the type of tests I would be required to do, whether practical and or theory. Additionally, I need to know the days these tests are taken. Lastly, I wish to be informed about the cost of the driver's license. I eagerly await your prompt response to this email. Yours respectfully, John Mason. You think that response nailed it? Let's see. Based on CXC instructions, your answer will be assessed on how well you 1. Format the email, 2. Select relevant and complete information, 3. Organize and express the information, 4. Use appropriate grammar, sentence structure, vocabulary, spelling, and punctuation. Now let's see if this response had adhered to all of this. In terms of the format of the email, we see where this response had nailed it. So we had 2, and that 2 there, Kenneth Daily HOTD, which means head of the traffic department, at gmail.com would have been the receiver, the recipient of the email. Okay, and then from that person is John Mason, and he is the sender. So we have receiver and sender, and then date. So all emails must be dated, and so we had August 31st 2020, right? And then the subject, so there's a subject line, acquisition of the driver's license. Okay, and then of course we had the greetings or salutation, which would have been here, dear Mr. Daly. And of course we have the body of the email, right, where you had the message. And of course it starts from I am seeking pertinent information, and it ends with best regards. Okay, so all of that information there would be the body of the email. And of course we have the complimentary close, right? So yours respectfully, complimentary close. And of course we have the signature, which would have been John Mason. All right, and so in terms of the format of the email, the student will not be marked down or penalized for that, because it would have been there. Okay, are you seeing it? Good. Choosing relevant and complete information is very vital in an examination. And so students need to remember that CXC will always, of course, give you irrelevant information mixed with relevant, so that you would be able to decipher, right? Should be able to decipher what is relevant and what is versus what is unnecessary. And so the information here about the gentleman calling the licensing office many times I was unable to reach anyone is really not relevant, and so you would not insert that in your response. And so the relevant and pertinent information will be the person who is sending the email, the recipient of the email, of course the information that pertains to the driver's license in terms of the minimum age, the test that should be taken, the time and days for the tests, okay, right, and of course the cost of the driver's license. So all of that information will be relevant. The other information will be peripheral. All right, did you get that? Do you understand that? Okay, so let's see how well now we can write in continuous prose, and what are the things that we need to employ in order to make the writing continuous. To ensure that you're writing in continuous prose, by that we mean sentence 1 is linked to sentence 2, sentence 2 linked to sentence 3, etc. It is important that you use what is known as transitional expressions. Now, transitional expressions are called connectives, and what they do is that they will join sentences together, and they are able to join words, phrases, clause, and sentences together, and so your writing will flow in a sequential manner. And so you would have seen in this response that there are several transitional expressions that were used. These are firstly, in order to, secondly, additionally, and lastly. And this of course will allow your writing to be in continuous prose. I trust that this tip was useful or beneficial to you. Edit your work. It is important that students edit their work. So you should edit your work to ensure that 1, all your sentences make sense and there are no fragments. And by that we mean incomplete thought or ideas. 2, ensure that all your words are spelt correctly. Okay, because students sometimes have a problem, with spelling. Some very simple words sometimes are spelled incorrectly, and so it is important that you read over your sentences and check your spelling. Thirdly, edit your work to ensure that all your sentences are properly punctuated, and that the appropriate end mark is at where they need to be. Okay, good. A full stop at the end of each sentence, or an exclamation mark or a question mark, depending on the type of sentence. There should be no run-on sentence. Okay, so avoid run-on sentences. So that is why it is important that you edit your work. I trust that this tip has been beneficial to you as well. To determine whether or not you will be successful on a given task, it is important that you are able to attempt an activity or question on your own. And so here is a question that relates to email writing. See whether or not you are able to complete this given task. And it reads, study the situation presented below and then complete the task that follows. Michelle Sandals, a 15-year-old student of Rodison High School, has been invited to her best friend Rebecca Markland's birthday party on September 5th, 2023. Michelle is currently spending the summer holiday with her mother in New York, but she would like her friend Rebecca to provide her with the following information. 1. The theme of the birthday party. 2. The time the party will start and will finish. 3. The venue or location of the party. 4. The number of guests or guests that each invitee is allowed to take. Lastly, the birthday registry or special gift item that she would like her to purchase for her special day. And of course, you're told to write the email using the information given. Make sure to include all the relevant details in the email, that all the information is received. Your email must be in continuous prose. Now, based on all that we have discussed, I know that you're able to complete this activity. Go ahead, complete the activity, and of course, you can always place it in the comment section right below, and I will give you some feedback on it. God bless you. I trust that all the information that we have provided during this presentation has been beneficial to you.